Hello and welcome back to another video. So today we'll be discussing about some scenarios for eBay listing. Okay, so I got a requirement from a customer where what we need to check is let's understand it from the beginning. So there's an application called termination application in which you can give some employee ID and we can generate termination request for that employee. And as soon as we generate termination request, we'll get some request ID. Okay, that makes sense. But what was happening is customer was receiving too much delay in the response. So in that case, what is happening is if I get a request for employee number 1, 2, 3, employee number is 1, 2, 3, and it's getting so much time to get a response for that employee ID 1, 2, 3. In that case, customer again triggering a request and again duplicating, like getting a new request. Okay, but we want to avoid this. What we want to do is if one request is already there, we don't want to create a new request. Okay, so for that we have created an endpoint. So what this endpoint will do, if there's an already present request for that particular employee number, it will give us the already created request. If there is no request, it will go and create a new request. Okay, so let's understand few scenarios. So scenario one is create a new request for a user for whom no request is previously created. So we'll give the employee key, employee ID we will give, and it will go and check there's no request, create a new request and give me back the response ID. Okay, so in response, what will response will be basically will be having request ID. Okay, request ID in this case. Scenario two is if there's an already created request for that employee, return me the existing request. Okay, so first scenario is if there is no new request, if there is no previously created request, create a new request and give me the request ID. And if there is an already created request, give me that request. Okay, and there are some other scenarios also that we can check as what happen if I give an invalid employee number, invalid employee ID. So in this case, we need to validate the response. We need to validate the response. The response should be proper. And what should be the response time? So basically, the API is just a contact between the client and the user. Okay, so we need to provide some kind of response time, like it will be under this. So it can be like 5,000 millisecond or 3,000 millisecond. So the response should be under this time. Okay, validate the response time. Okay, and lastly, the status code. So we are having like different status code is 200 and 400. So we need to make sure like we keep the proper status code. So if we are getting a new request, we keep like 201 great. Okay, if we are like reverting back the any already created request, we will be using like 200 normal status code. Okay, yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you. Stay tuned.